Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Let's go. All right. Everybody should be able to see and hear me okay. Let's get started. Welcome to the Week 6 Royal Hangout for you exclusive Edge members. Start typing your questions and I'll start answering them. Welcome back. Looks like Justin Forset's going to play today. We don't know about TJ Yeldon yet. All right, from Beth, need running back, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Hilton, Jordan Matthews, Decker, Macklin, Chris Johnson, and Ivory. So 1 running back. I think your best is Ivory, 2 wide receivers, Hilton and Decker. Like them a lot, and I will go with Chris Johnson in the flex. All right. Non-PPR need 2 running backs and a flex. From Forsett, Ellington, Gio Bernard, Decker, and Jordan Matthews. So 2 running backs. I will go with Forsett and Gio, and I will go with Decker in the flex. Need 2 from Landry, Marshall, and Macklin. I would be benching Macklin there. Tannehill or Flacco, I would definitely, well, it's not definitely, it's not easy. I would go with Tannehill there. Vereen or Sproles, I'm going to go with Vereen. I think he'd be very busy in that Giants offense. Need a flex, please, in PPR. Martavis Bryant, Jennings, Clay, or Crowder. 1 second. Martavis Bryant, Jennings, Clay, or Crowder. I'll take my chances with Martavis Bryant there. Yeldon, Jeremy Hill, or Antonio Andrews. We don't know about Yeldon yet. We're going to have to wait on that. So might have to answer that question a little bit later this morning. Need a flex, please. Martavis Bryant, Jennings, Clay, or Crowder. I think I answered that one already. Yeah, I just did. Okay. Tannehill, Stafford, or Bortles. I'm going to go with Bortles there. I don't trust Stafford regardless of the matchup. Okay, Beth, you got to slow down a little. Other people have questions. You've asked several questions already. Give other people a chance here. I'll get to you. Just you know, I gotta take some other people first because I did answer 3 questions from you already. Buck Allen or C.J. Anderson. 4 sets expected to start today, so I'll go C.J. Anderson. Robinson or Gearhart if Yeldon doesn't play. We don't know yet. We got to wait for that news and find out who's going to start there. Ivory or Landry. I'm going to go with Landry. Could be a little bit tough sledding for Ivory today. Alex Smith or Bridgewater. I think Bridgewater has a pretty good matchup, even though it seems pretty much a sorry situation there at quarterback for you. Mariota, Eli. Also starting Kendall Wright. Doesn't matter who else you're starting. Eli's the better fantasy quarterback, has a good matchup. Fitzpatrick or Luck? I can't bench Andrew Luck now that he's starting. Not for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Would you drop Tannehill or Josh McCown and pick up Rivers? Heck yes. I'd do that right now. And I would drop Tannehill and I would start him today. I would start Rivers today. Can start 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers, or 4 wide receivers and running back. Peterson is a must start. KD3. You're gonna have to go with. I would go with David Johnson for the upside. Then Decker, Keenan Allen, a must starts. I would go with Landry and Matthews. I would play the 4 wide receivers. Need a flex: John Brown, Melvin Gordon, Abdullah Hillman, or Delaney Walker. I would go with Hillman there. It's a good matchup for him. Maybe some big play chances. Need 2 from McCoy, Lynch, and Forsett. Now that Lynch is back, I think you have to start him. Both Forsett and McCoy may not be 100%. I'll take the chance with McCoy. 8-team league, need 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and a flex. This is for Caitlin. The wide receiver, let's see. The wide receiver would be Keenan Allen. He's a must start. I would go with Ivory running back and Woodhead in the flex. 1 point rushing attempt, need 2 running backs and a flex. Forsett, Vereen, Melvin Gordon, Sproles, Fred Jackson, Garcon. I don't even know why you're rostering Fred Jackson. I would go with Forsett, Vereen, and Sproles. Eli or Tannehill, definitely Eli, better fantasy quarterback. Boy, everybody's typing a lot of female names. That's not going to get your question answered any faster. I take them in the order I receive. People pretending to be Sarah, Ann, etc. You don't have to pretend to be a girl to get your question answered here. I know what you people are up to. Okay, I'm wise to it. I see all the questions. I'm going to get to them. But again, if you're going to type multiple questions, you're going to have to wait for some of your secondary answers. I appreciate it. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Woodhead, Vereen, and Parker. Not quite ready to use Parker yet. Would you start Antonio Brown? If you yelled it out, who would you start? Antonio Brown, Niall Davis, and Chris Thompson. If you recommend Thompson, it would have to drop Andrews or Davis. Who would you drop? In a PPR, I would go with Thompson, and I would probably drop Andrews. Woodhead or Hilton. Now that Luck's back, I definitely got to start Hilton. Need a running back and a flex from West, Jennings, Ellington, David Johnson, Adams, and Theo Riddick. Adams is out this week. Riddick might not play. I'm going to go with West and David Johnson. Need a running back, wide receiver, and a flex from Chris Johnson, Gio Bernard, LaShawn McCoy. Fitzgerald is a must start. Hearns, like him a lot today, and then I will go with Gio. Hillman or Forsett. I slightly prefer Hillman. Need one wide receiver and one flex. James Jones, C.J. Anderson, Hillman, Moncrief, Jimmy Graham, Niall Davis, and Alan Hearns. I think James Jones is a must start, and I think Donta Moncrief is a must start. Numbers for Dion Lewis today. I see you blunt. You nervous Lewis won't play or be limited. No, that has nothing to do with Lewis. It's the fact that power running is usually something that the Patriots exhibit against the Colts. Kind of hard for me to project numbers for Lewis right now because we have to see how he looks in pregame warm-ups tonight. Okay. Need running back, wide receiver, and a flex from Chris Johnson, Gio, LaShawn McCoy, Fitzgerald, Hearns, and Landry. The running back would be Gio, wide receiver Fitzgerald, and Hearns at the flex. Rivers, Cam, Dalton, Ryan, or Eli. You can't bench Danny Dalton. Rivers or Palmer. I can't bench Palmer right now. Need two running backs. Buck has already been claimed from someone else. I have Forsett, Yeldon, Lamar Miller, David Johnson, Riddick. Right now I go Forsett and Miller. I need one flex. Would you start Amir Abdullah over Riddick, Rolls, or Pierre Garcon? Yes. He might see more of a workload today. Need two flex from Chris Johnson, Garcon, Hearns, Andre Johnson, or Baldwin. I like Hearns today, and I'll go Chris Johnson for the upside. Rudolph, Walker, Ertz, or Danella Cameron. I'll go with Ertz, best shot of a touchdown. Julius Thomas, Reed, Jordan Cameron, Ertz, or Rudolph. I think Julius Thomas is going to be very involved today. Ann says, I am a girl. I don't think all 6 people typing Ann, Sarah, Caitlin are all girls. These 3 between Riddick, Hillman, Matthews, Lamar Miller, Ted Ginn, Ty Montgomery. I'll go Hillman for the matchup. Lamar Miller to maybe bounce back. And I'll go with Montgomery there for some upside. Need 2 in a 10-team league. Hill, Yeldon, Miller, Antonio Andrews. Right now I got to go Miller and Hill. Maybe Miller bounces back today. Need a flex from Allen Robinson, Watkins, Martavis Bryant, Steve Smith, and Chandrick West. Like the matchup for Allen Robinson, I'll go with West for some upside. Martavis Bryant, also on Jeffrey. You got to use Jeffrey now that he's back. I have Forsett. I picked up Allen, but I also have the Dula what's to play. I think now that Forsett's playing, you got to go with him. Need 2 running backs. Woodhead, Miller, Forsett, Duke, Robinson or Landry in flex. Two running backs. I will go with Woodhead and Miller, and I will go with Robinson slightly over Landry. Need a wide receiver and a flex. John Brown, Landry, Duke, Woodhead, Ryan Matthews. I'll go with Landry to be very busy and Woodhead at running back. Need two full point PPR. ODB, Antonio Brown, and Jeffrey. I don't think you can afford to wait for Beckham, so you're going to have to use Brown and Jeffrey. Decker, Hearns, or Wallace. I love Decker against the Redskins. Cam Rivers, Eli, or Dalton. You can't bench Dalton. I wouldn't carry three quarterbacks, even if it's an 8-team league. I would probably cut Cam Newton there. Drop Ryan Matthews for Hillman or Vereen. Non-PPR would probably get Hillman. Which tight end today, Barnage or Bennett? Bennett's listed as questionable. Go with the healthy guy. Devontae Adams is on waiver. Drop Golden Tate for him. Tate is on bench. I wouldn't do that yet. We don't know when Adams is going to play, whatever role is going to be. Two wide receivers, Brown, Landry, Matthews, Hearns. Worried about Peterson covering Brown. I don't think you bench Antonio Brown regardless of matchups. And then I would go with Alan Hearns to have a nice day. Need two running backs, Stewart, David Johnson, Ellington, Nile Davis. David Johnson and Nile Davis give you the best shot at touchdowns. Would you drop Hillman for Lamar Miller? Yes, I would. Miller could be in line to get more work now that they've had a coaching change. Forsett or C.J. Anderson, I'll go with the fully healthy guy with a pretty good matchup. I'll go with C.J. Anderson. Need one flex, but start between Javoris Allen or Woodhead or McCoy. I think Woodhead's your safest play there. My name is Sarah. I could put a male name next time if that helps. Ha. All right. Your name's probably Sir, but need running back in a flex in a PPR league between West, C.J. Anderson, Woodhead, or Golden Tate. I'm going to go West for some upside, and actually, though, you have Woodhead, so I'm going to go Anderson and Woodhead. Miller, David Johnson, or Vereen. Need one. I will go with Miller to bounce back today. Need flex between Forsett, Melvin Gordon, John Brown. Those three, I'll use Forsett now that he's going to play. C.J. Anderson or Nile Davis. Need one. I definitely go with C.J. Anderson. Rolls of Duke Johnson. Lynch is starting today, so use Duke. Aiken or Decker. Definitely Decker. Better kicker, Crosby or Canizaro. Crosby for sure. Need a running back 3 in a flex from Aiken, Ginn, Martavis Bryant, or C.J. Anderson. I will go with C.J. Anderson and Aiken there. Since we have to wait for Lewis Walmers to see how he is, would you play Gio or just roll the dice? I would play it safe and go with Bernard if you have another option of that quality. PPR, need one flex and one wide receiver from Hearns, Steve Smith, Baldwin, or Chris Johnson. I will go with Hearns and Chris Johnson. Would you drop Hankerson or Kristen Michael and grab Allen if you have Forsett? No, because Forsett's expected to play today. Need a flex from Gio, Vereen, Moncrief, John Brown, Landry. I like Moncrief today. You said your name is Ann. I think you're really Andy. PPR flex, Hillman, Aiken, John Brown, Crowder, Yeldon. For now, we don't know about Yeldon, so I'm going to go with Hillman based on the matchup. Clay or Rudolph. In a PPR, I'll go Clay. Need running back in a flex, Amir Abdullah, Antonio Andrews, Moncrief, Brown, Crowder. I go Abdullah and Moncrief for sure. Tannehill and Mariota for sure. Please rank in order, Rawls, Riddick, Bradshaw. If you're talking about today, I go in that order. If you're talking about going forward, I go Riddick, Bradshaw, Rawls. Need a flex from Landry, Yeldon, or Andrews. I definitely go Landry there, not even close. Pick 2 from Hilton, Macklin, Beckham, and Allen Robinson. You can't wait for Beckham, so I'll go Hilton and Allen Robinson. Hearns or Decker. I love Decker today. Turbin or Ellington. Ellington. I don't know how much Turbin's going to contribute to yet, and he plays against Denver. I currently have Buck Allen in there now, but Gearhart, Denard Robinson, Riddick, and Sproles are all available. Do I stick with the Buck or grab one of those other guys? I don't think you'd use Buck Allen today now. I would pick up Denard Robinson for now. Palmer or Dalton. Can't bench Andy Dalton the way he was playing. I would trade Carson Palmer. Hearns or Decker. Decker. A Bennett Oda, should I be concerned with his groin injury? Yes, you should. He's listed as questionable. I would pick up. I would pick up Richard Rodgers. As for next week, worry about next week. When you get to next week, we don't know if Bennett's going to play this week or next week. Get Rodgers and start him for today. We can't worry about next week. The 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers. This is for Big Dog. I would go with Murray, Foster, and Nile Davis, and then go Antonio Brown and Moncrief at wide receiver. I need a flex from Hill, Bryant, Wallace. I would go with Wallace. He's got a good matchup today. Need a running back, wide receiver, and a flex. Ivory, Forsett, Chris Johnson, Jordan Matthews, Macklin, or Hearns. Running back, I go Ivory. Flex, I go Chris Johnson and Hearns. Also, running back and a flex, Hill, West, Moncrief, and Tate. I'll go West and Moncrief. 1 point after 5 catches. Woodhead, Lamar Miller, C.J. Anderson, Eric Decker, Landry. Pick 2. I love Eric Decker today, and would also go with C.J. Anderson for the matchup. Tannehill, Bortles. I'll go Bortles. With Royal back, is Marcus Wilson still in play? Yes. Just also with Jeffrey back, I think you got to limit what kind of contribution you're expecting there. Jonathan Stewart on waivers. Drop Kyrie Robinson for him, holding Robinson in case of injury to starters. Stewart's mediocre. He's never going to start him. If you got like Ingram, I would keep Kyrie Robinson. Rashard Matthews of Montgomery. Rashard Matthews. All these girls today here, Ronas' sisters. That's very funny. Tate, Moncrief, or Marcus Wilson. I'll definitely go Moncrief. Need a running back, wide receiver, and a flex. Hyde, Woodhead, Riddick, Stewart, Matthews, Moncrief, Jeffrey. Running back, I go Woodhead. Wide receiver and a flex, Moncrief for sure, and Jeffrey now that he's back. Need 2 running backs in the PPR. Wes Miller, Forsett, Duke Johnson, Dion Lewis. I think Dion Lewis should be good to go tonight. So I would go with Lewis right now and West. Riddick or Rashard Matthews. I go with Rashard Matthews. The 3 wide receivers, Brown, Cobb, Edelman, and Allen Robinson. I think I would have to bench Allen Robinson there, unfortunately. Need a flex. Andrews, Parker can pick up Riddick or Richard Rodgers. I would take the crack with Andrews there. It's not too good. Vinatieri, a goal. I go Vinatieri. Turbin or Ellington. I don't think Turbin's ready to contribute yet. Drop Abdullah for Christian Michael. Not yet. Just see what Abdullah does today. Should I drop Mariota, Tannehill for Bortles? I would drop Tannehill for Bortles. Need 2 of 3, Demarius, Moncrief, or Matthews. I don't think you play Matthews over those guys. Woodhead, Miller, or Anderson. I like Anderson's matchup. Would you drop Rashad Jennings, Ryan Matthews, or Riddick and grab Denard Robinson? Currently, I'm starting David Johnson. I like David Johnson's upside. Stick with what you have. So worth dropping Riddick for Devontae Adams in a standard league. I would hold off on that. Wilson or Bortles. Wilson's the better fantasy quarterback. Half-point PPR flex, Dion Lewis, Forsett, Decker, Delaney, Walker. I'm going to go Decker there. I love his matchup today. Chandrick West or Ivory. Ivory's more proven. Woodhead or Forsett. Woodhead. Wilson or Eli. I like Eli's matchup a lot. He's been very steady. Rusty Ryle. Hey, what's going on, Rusty? How you doing? Former Arizona Diamondback Rusty Ryle in the chat room. Carlos Hyde or Dion Lewis? Go with the health. Go. I'm going to go with Lewis. Looks like he's good to go tonight. Luck or Eli? Can't bench Luck now that he's back. Need two running backs, tight end and a flex. Graham, Gates, C.J. Anderson, Hyde, Gio, Buck Allen, David Johnson. Two running backs. I will go with C.J. Anderson based on the matchup. Gio for sure. Tight end. I'm going to go Antonio Gates for now. And I will go with David Johnson for some upside in the flex. Numbers for Antonio Brown. I'll say 5 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Need one running back and a flex. West, Buck Allen, Forsett, Jeffrey, and Martellus Bennett. Bennett's questionable. Got to use Jeffrey now that he's back. And I'm going to go with Charkandrick West there. I see you have Dalton over Bradford. How close of a call is that for you? I was planning to play Bradford. Rick, have you watched Andy Dalton play this season? There's no way I bench Andy Dalton regardless of matchup. You can only use matchups to make decisions between two similarly ranked players. You can see on my ranks they're nowhere near close. There's no way I'm benching Andy Dalton for Stan Bradford right now, regardless of matchup. Dion Lewis, Blunt, Murray. I'll go with Murray and Blunt there. Running back in a flex PPR, Duke Johnson, West, Stewart, John Brown, Ryan Matthews. I'll go with West and Brown. Should I pick up the Bengals defense and start them today or stick with Green Bay? We get big points for sacks and interceptions and pick six. I would use the Bengals to go in against EJ Manuel. Drop Abdullah for Hillman. I wouldn't do that just yet. Let's see what happens today. Jordan Matthews or Hearns. Can't rely on Jordan Matthews right now. I like Hearns. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Gio, Forsett, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen is a must start, and Allen Robinson. Jordan Matthews and John Brown. Can't trust either, but I'll take Matthews. Seeing reports that Yeldon is out. If he's out, Denard Robinson, Crowell, or David Johnson. I would go with Denard Robinson. Vereen or Ellington. I think Vereen's going to be more involved in the offensive flow. C.J. Anderson or Ryan Matthews. I like Anderson's matchup today. Might be more involved in the offensive flow. The two running backs, Peterson. Well, he's a must start. Dion Lewis, Gio, or David Johnson. I'm going to go Peterson and Dion Lewis. Woodhead or Antonio Brown. I can't bench Antonio Brown, even though the upside seems limited right now. One wide receiver and a flex. Duke Johnson, Ellington, Aiken, and Tate. Well, that's not good. I'll go with Aiken and Duke Johnson. Production for Chakandrick West today, I'll say 80 rushing yards and 4 catches for 35 yards. Favorite DFS quarterback this week? Well, I guess if you mean my overall favorite, I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. But if you talk about values, I like Ryan Fitzpatrick a lot. Need a running back and a flex. Blunt, Stewart, Gio Bernard, Hillman, and Matthews. Uh, let's see. I'm going to go with Blunt, power running against the Colts, and Gio Bernard. Antonio Andrews, Ruben Randall, Tate, or Julius Thomas. Don't like any of those. I'll go with Julius Thomas for some upside. Need running back and 2 flex. Blunt, Ellington, Vereen, Landry, Amendola. Amendola is not even rosterable right now. I will go with Blunt, Vereen, and Landry for sure. Miller or Chickendrick West. I'll go with Miller, bounce back today. Abdullah or Jeffrey. You got to go with Jeffrey now that he's back. Cutler or Bortles. I like Cutler. Numbers for Allen Hurns. I'll go 6 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. Gates or Julius Thomas. I can't bench Antonio Gates. I don't think you need to carry 2 tight ends there. You can hold Julius Thomas. If he has a good game today, you can trade him. Please rank Buck Allen, Amir Abdullah, Stewart, Rawls, Denard Robinson. I'm going to go Abdullah, Robinson, Stewart, Allen, and Rawls. Cutler or Bortles. Cutler. Need one. Ellington, Vereen, Bolden, or Marvin Jones. I'm going to go with Marvin Jones today. That Buffalo secondary is vulnerable. Chris Thompson or Stewart in a PPR. Neither one have a good matchup, but I think Chris Thompson could be in line for more volume. Need one. Demaryius Thomas, Moncrief. Well, you can't bench Demaryius Thomas. Pick up Denard Robinson, play him in flex over Hurns. No, I like Hurns a lot today. PPR, Chris Thompson, Ryan Matthews, Antonio Andrews. I'll go with Ryan Matthews to score a touchdown. Is Huffworth has started at 3rd wide receiver? Definitely. Would you drop Tevin Coleman for Hillman, LaFell, or Golden Tate? I would take the crack on Hillman there. One-point PPR. Upside pick, running back and a flex from Dion Lewis, Chris Johnson, and Moncrief. If you're looking for upside, I would bench Dion Lewis there. Chris Thompson, Stewart, and Marvin Jones. Already answered that. I said Marvin Jones. Please don't type your question twice. I see all of them. Point per reception, 1 point for carry. This is for Gabe. Your 2 running backs are Jeremy Hill and Duke Johnson. Your 2 wide receivers are Calvin, Antonio Brown, and your flex is Hurns. Gates, Eifert, Jeffrey. Need 2. I go Eifert and Jeffrey. Rivers, Eli, or Peyton Manning. I would go with Eli. He's got a really good matchup, and I would just keep Eli and Rivers right now. Gates or Olsen, I don't think you need to carry 2. I think you can trade 1. I'm going to stick with Olsen. Outlook for Odell Beckham Jr. this week? We don't know. We don't know if he's going to play, Rick. I can't make up information for you when it doesn't exist. I'm sorry. Julius Thomas or Delaney Walker? Definitely Julius Thomas. Need 1. Demaryius Thomas, Andre Johnson, or Percy Harvin. You don't bench Demaryius Thomas for those much lesser wide receivers. That would not be a good move. Watkins or Jeffrey? Use Jeffrey now that he's back. Ellington, Alfred Morris, or Royal? I don't like any one of those. I'll take Ellington for some upside. Cardinals or Packers defense? I'm going to go with the Cardinals against Michael Vick. Would you trade Latavius Murray for Dante Moncrief? Yes, if you can afford to take the hit at running back and you need a wide receiver, that's fair and it makes sense. Need one for my flex. Lynch or Dion Lewis. Bench Lynch now that he's back. With Jeffrey back, is Marcus Wilson still okay? Need two with Marvin Jones, Marcus Wilson, or Dwayne Harris. I still keep Wilson in there and not use Dwayne Harris. Numbers for Palmer today. I think it's a big day. 325 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. It says Steelers defense. Rashad Jennings, Buck Allen, and Matt Jones. Jones is not playing today. Buck Allen is being a backup. I'll have to go with Rashad Jennings. Dion Lewis to play and be limited. As of now, he's expected to start. Pre-game warm-ups will tell us more. Numbers for C.J. Anderson, I'm going to say 70 rushing yards and a touchdown. What's your view on Peyton Manning? Well, I think it's everybody else's view. He's still very smart, and he knows how to read a defense, but he doesn't have the arm strength anymore, so I think he's a low-end QB1. So I feel confident starting Luck over Rivers. I'm 4-1 this first time and don't want to screw up this week. When Andrew Luck plays, you do not bench him, period. He is a must start. He's top 3 quarterback in fantasy football. You're overthinking it. Need one, Antonio Brown, Eric Decker, or Garcon. I'm still not benching Antonio Brown. Need one from Rawls, David Johnson, Javoris Allen, Chris Thompson, Anthony Dixon. I would go with David Johnson for the upside. Bortles or Fitzpatrick. I really like Fitzpatrick today. Antonio Andrews or David Johnson. I'll go Johnson for more upside. Dion Lewis or Chris Johnson. I am going to go with Dion. Still stick with Dion Lewis. Vernon Davis worth a flex. Well, it all depends on who else you have. I would probably say no until he shows us something. Need a flex. Jamison Crowder or David Johnson. I don't like Crowder against the Jets. Bennett or Cameron, standard. Bennett's listed as questionable. You got to go with Cameron. Macklin or Allen Robinson. Which one is a safer play Allen Robinson with no Jamal Charles there? Need two. Blunt, Geo Stewart, Hillman, Matthews. I'll go Blunt and Geo. Need a flex. Forsett, Javoris Allen, Garcon, Moncrief, or Woodhead. I definitely go Dante Moncrief. I own OBJ and Rashad Jennings and need advice. I can start Fitz and Moncrief and wide receiver and put ODB in the flex and wait until the game time decision and start Jennings or he sits, or I can start Chris Johnson and Ellington. I would just play it safe and go with Chris Johnson in your flex. Need a wide receiver in a flex. Keenan Allen, Matthews, Moncrief, Miller, and Hill. Allen and Moncrief are must starts to me. Two running backs. This for Chad Hovis. Your 2 running backs are, well, you only listed 2. Oh, you listed 3. I'll go with Melvin Gordon and Shane Vereen. Your 2 wide receivers are Hearns and Macklist. I'll go Wallace at the flex. Need 2 QBs, Luck, Rivers, Bradford. I would be benching Rivers there. Need 2 tight ends, Donnell, Fleener, and Rudolph. I bench Donnell there. Julius Thomas or Eifert. I go with Eifert. He's the number 2 tight end in my ranks overall for the season. No way would I use Julius Thomas over him. Do we know the status of Forsett? Right now, he's expected to play. Denard Robinson, Rashad Jennings, Chris Johnson, sit 1. I would sit Jennings there. Do you think Hilton is okay to go tonight? I haven't heard anything that he is. Don't make up worries where there aren't any. Cardinals or Packers? Already answered this one. I go Cardinals. Thanks a lot, BBN Forever. We appreciate it. Unfortunately, this might be the final Sunday live chat today. We might be scrapping these going forward and in favor of some other content. Chikandrick West or Woodhead in a PPR league. I would go with Woodhead. He's more proven. Need two: Jeffrey Hearns, Andre Johnson, Martavis Bryant, a drop and pick up Crowder or Rashard Matthews. Jeffrey, got to use him now that he's back. And I would go with Hearns. I like his matchup today. Start Gates or Clay. I can't bench Gates for Clay now that Gates is back and he's playing like he's capable of. Given what you just said about Luck or Palmer, you have Palmer ranked higher today. It all depends on who you have. In a case where you have Palmer, that's a case where I would actually go with Carson Palmer because we know that he's healthy and he's got a terrific matchup. But in most cases, you're not going to bench Andrew Luck. I have Lynch need to drop either Rawls or Christian Michael. Which one to drop? I would drop Rawls. Now that Lynch is back, Michael could start when he comes back from the bye. I have a little technical difficulties here. Please bear with me. It's like a little problem with the chat box. Please be patient. All right. All right. For those who are asking about the Royal Hangouts, uh, haven't decided yet fully what's going to replace it. We're discussing a few internal options. Uh, Definitely email advice will be available, and you can certainly ask for me on rotoexperts.com/email advice. Actually, the email advice tab on the homepage. I have Stewart and Al Davis. Would you drop either or both for Duke Johnson, David Johnson, or Matt Jones? I would drop Stewart for Duke Johnson, whose market value is going up. Melvin Gordon to CJ Anderson. Melvin Gordon has done nothing. So I'm going to go with CJ Anderson. Let's see. Take that question away. If you're going Vernon Davis or Zach Zenner, I would go with Zenner today. Hillman, Brown, or Aiken. I go Hillman there based on the matchup. Need to pick a quarterback for this week. Cutler, Tannehill, Bortles, Fitzpatrick, McCown, or Hoyer. Like the Fitzpatrick matchup a lot. I have Stewart and Al Davis. Would you drop it? Okay, don't type your question twice. I do see all of them. Thank you. Need one, a Lynch. Well, Zelma, now that Lynch is back, you don't bench him. Gates or Olsen. Like I already said, Olsen. Since you said start Cameron or Ben over Bennett, should I drop Bennett and pick up Cameron up? Cannot roster both. I think that's what you have to do, unfortunately. You need a running back and a flex for Go Fins. Go Fins. Uh, I like Landry to be very busy today, and I'll go with Hyde. Hyde or Woodhead, definitely Woodhead. Jennings or Hill, definitely Hill. Need two of these, an upside. Moncrief, Chris Johnson, Dion Lewis. I would bench Lewis in that case. Have David Johnson, Crowell, Gearhart on wire. Need one. David Johnson for the upside. Sit one, Buck Allen, Andrews, or Duke. I'll sit Buck Allen now that Forset's starting. Allen Robinson, Moncrief, or Chris Johnson in the flex. I will go with Moncrief. Like him a lot today. Bye week trouble. I got Ryan Matthews, Nile Davis, West. Am I crazy to start Davis and West? I wouldn't start them together. I'd just find a way to get West in there, but otherwise, we'll go Matthews. Odell Beckham or play it safe with Mike Wallace. If you can't wait for Beckham, use Wallace. Need two in a standard league, Moncrief, Matthews, or Jeffrey. I will go with Jeffrey and Moncrief for sure. Hearns or Landry. I like Hearns a lot today. This chat is a major reason why I subscribe. Please don't kill it. Don't worry, Bluto or anybody else. We're going to find other ways for you to have direct access to me on Sundays. But we're discussing other internal options. Don't worry, you're still going to get your questions answered from me every week. Need one flex. Gio Bernard, Lamar Miller, Hyde, Chakandrick West, or Decker. I love Decker's matchup today. Need a flex in a standard league. C.J. Anderson, Barnage, Decker, Jordan Matthews. I love Decker's matchup today. Like I was saying, Eli or Peyton. Definitely Eli. Need two running backs and a flex and a tight end between. Okay, this is for Eddie. Your two running backs are David Johnson and Blunt. And the flex, Riddick is not healthy, so I would pick up Chris Thompson and cut Crowder. You think Diggs has a good chance to slide into the wide receiver 2 spot? I think even as a wide receiver 3, I would start him over at Crowell. Need one for Javoris Allen, Lamar Miller, Abdullah. I'll go with Lamar Miller to bounce back. Cutler or Fitzgerald. I love Fitzgerald's matchup. Bluto, don't worry. Email me at scotty@rotoexperts.com. I'll make sure that you get taken care of every week and you get priority. Don't worry about it, Bluto. You're very important to me. I know you've been subscribing for 5 years. I'm not saying the email advice is going to be the only other option. We're going to consider our options, and we'll have something in place for next Sunday. All right? Bluto, my direct email is scotty@rotoexperts.com. We'll drop Jonathan Stewart and Al Davis for David Johnson, Duke Johnson. Let's see. I would drop, this is for Dave P. I would drop Jonathan Stewart for Duke Johnson, and I would hold Nile Davis just for this week. Was going to start Jin and Marvin Jones, and it'll be Odell Beckham for flex and Vereen as backup if Beckham is out. Better to put Vereen in flex and pick up Dwayne Harris as a backup. I can't start Ted Ginn Jr., so start Jones and then wait on Odell Beckham Jr. with Vereen as your backup. Would you trade away Beckham, Vereen, Marvin Jones for Latavius Murray, Foster, and John Bound? No, I'd hold on to Beckham. I'm not trading him just because he's hurt. Danella Cameron, I'll definitely go Cameron there. Would you pick up Kristen Michael or Duke Johnson? Duke Johnson for now. Wilson or Fitzpatrick? I like Fitzpatrick, but I still got to go Russell Wilson. He's a better fantasy quarterback. Thanks, Adam from Buffalo. We appreciate it. I'll make sure that people still have access to me in some way on Sundays. We might be doing a mailbag. Confidentially, we might be looking into a radio show where you guys could call in. There's a few things we're considering. Bradford, Mariota, McCown, Bridgewater, or Tannehill? I definitely go Bradford there. Pick 2, Hillman, Zenner, Robinson, Jeremy Hill. Okay, Rusty. We've been down through this before. I like Hillman because of the matchup, and Jeremy Hill is the best of your rest. Jordan Cameron or Ertz. I'm going to go with Ertz there for a better shot of a score. Matty Ice needs 2.25 point PPR. I will go with Hillman. I'd like you to hold Beckham and see if you can pick up somebody else in that game. Where would you rank Chris Johnson going forward? I think he's top 20 right now at running back. What do you think of Texans D today? I would much rather use the Vikings. Should I pick up Devontae Parker and stash going forward? Also, Devontae Adams using a bye week for a stash for now. I don't know when Adams is going to return or what his role is. Read Jason Braddock's tip sheet on the homepage. Decker or Landry in a non-PPR. I love Decker's matchup today. Please don't. My only source for success. Please don't drop the Hangouts. Don't worry, you'll have another way of having access to me. Us dropping the Hangouts does not mean you won't have access to me anymore. So don't worry about it. Hearns, Brian, or Andre Johnson? Definitely Hearns. Would you drop Joseph Randall for Kristen Michael? Not quite yet. I have Forsett. Do I need to pick up Allen? My other options are David Johnson, Riddick, Zach Stacy, and Denard Robinson, available on waivers. Forsett's going to start today, so I don't think you need to make a move. Peyton Manning or Josh McCown? I like McCown's been playing better, but you can't use you can't use him against the Broncos. Is Ahmad Bradshaw worth a bench stash? It all depends on what you have on your roster. Need one: Jonathan Stewart, David Johnson, Andre Johnson, Percy Harvin. I would go with David Johnson for the most upside. Okay, we're all caught up here almost. Need 2: Jacandrick West, Stewart, Duke Johnson, and John Brown. I'll go West for some upside and John Brown. Roll with Cam or pick up Bradford, Tannehill, or Bridgewater. I wouldn't cut Cam, but I would roll with Bradford. All right, we're all caught up. I want to thank everybody for stopping by today. Thanks to everybody who's been a big part of this for the last few years. We will definitely find a way, and I will alert everybody as how you can what this is going to be replaced with. Thanks so much for being a part of this. I really appreciate it. Don't worry, you'll still have access to me on Sundays. Right now you'll always have email advice, and you can always hit me up on Twitter. Email advice, just ask for me and say that you're a Google Plus Hangout participant, and you'll get top priority. Real quick, Tobey, I would go with Duke Johnson, and Matty Ice, I would go with Gates over Hillman. All right, thanks a lot, everybody, and don't forget to hit me up on email advice here on rotoexperts.com. Just ask for me. I'll give you priority, and we'll definitely let you know what we're replacing this with next week.